Alright guys, as you can see on the screen, we're back with another Road to Platinum video. Today we are here with Assassin's Creed Origins. It's been a while since our last Assassin's Creed Platinum. That was because Unity never clicked for me. I tried to do it like
I
2 or 3
must let Rome
times
know
and
that Siwa is never
I
to be
just
harmed
couldn't stick
again.
with the game, so
None of these men will
I just
survive.
ended up not doing it. And Syndicate is broken on the PS5, so I couldn't Platinum it at all because it's just not good to play. There's like lighting issues and texture pop-in, and it's just unplayable on the PS5. And then I was also just waiting for Origins to get the 60 FPS update, which is what all this footage is. All this footage is from the 60 FPS patch. If you don't know how these kinds of videos work, though, basically I give a review
So
about the
much for
game
the
and also tell you
commander.
how long it took me to get the
He may
platinum,
be carrying important
and if I
information.
had any issues with any trophies. Today we are going to
This may
start
tell
off
me
with the
what their
shorter
plan is.
section, which is the platinum trophy section. The platinum took me a total of about 100 hours. This was because I have multiple playthroughs and certain trophies I had to grind for extra because I messed up. There's two trophies that I would say are pretty tough in the game, and one is the Tinker Trophy, which is called Recycle and Reuse or something like that. And it requires you to get 100 trinkets and sell them all at once. So I highly recommend, if you're playing through the game again, to save all your trinkets until you have enough. Because if you don't, it takes your... If you do all the locations and you're selling trinkets constantly and you don't save up for that 100, you're going to have to make a new playthrough to redo a bunch of locations. So I highly recommend just saving them up because it'll save you probably like 5 or 6 hours of just grinding, like going from one location to the next. The other trophy is... the other trophy I had an issue with is the bugs raining in the desert trophy. And this was simply because it took about an hour for me to actually get the hallucination to spawn in. But all you have to do for this trophy is just walk through the desert nonstop until you see the hallucination pop up. And don't worry, the trophy does pop. It just takes a second. You have to wait until all the bugs go away. But yeah, that trophy took me probably an hour, an hour and a half to get the hallucination to spawn. And it just sucked, dude. I hated it so much because you're just walking mindlessly. I get that I could have rubber banded and stuff just to let it do its thing AFK, but I just didn't want to. I also 100%ed both the DLCs, so that also goes into the platinum time. And yeah, now let's just get into the review portion of the video. So we're going to start off today with the story. As you guys know, I don't get into a lot of detail with the story, though, just because I don't want to spoil anything crazy. But without going into too much detail, the story is pretty awesome. It follows the story of Bayek and his revenge on the killers of his child. This involves him finding a cult, which is technically like the Templar type thing, you know. And ultimately ending with him creating the Hidden Ones, which is now known as the Assassin's Creed. Bayek and his wife Aya will go all across Egypt to defeat all these different cult leaders. You also meet famous people like Cleopatra and Caesar. That's really it for the story because I don't like getting into it too deep, you know. It's a really good story, and it sets up a lot of future stuff for Bayek and Aya if they decide to ever go down that route. The modern day is okay. It kind of goes back to the way Desmond's was set up, where you do have like third-person parkour segments in the modern day. And this introduces Layla, I believe her name is. I don't fully remember because I really ignored the modern day for this trilogy. But yeah, so the story is really good. It follows Aya and Bayek, and they just travel all through Egypt, killing all these different Templar leaders, basically. And there's also a few naval missions throughout the story. They're not, because you can't, there's no naval in free roam. There's not even like any big boats like that in free roam. But there are like 1 or 2 naval missions. And I'm not gonna say what it is, but the last mission of the game actually is pretty cool because it takes you outside of Egypt somewhere cool. So just letting you know that. And you play as a different character other than Bayek. But I'm not going to get into it. Now let's move into the world. And I'm going to also do graphics, I think, because I forgot to write them in this script. But, oh fuck, god damn it, sorry. Okay, the map is absolutely massive. There is easily over 100 locations to explore. And it's just a very large map, and there's many different regions as well. You got desert, grassland type shit, you got forest, mountains, ocean, river, swamp, the pyramids, you know, just a lot of very cool. There's a lot of famous locations in the game as well because it is Egypt. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Oh, your main way of transportation throughout the world is going to be, of course, just running, as well as horseback. The one thing about this game that does suck when it comes to traversal is there really is no parkour system. It's just go to this wall, climb up. So that's why this video is not going to have a parkour segment like the past Assassin's Creed Road to Platinum videos have had. There are plenty of things to do in the open world. I'm tired. I'm sorry. There are plenty of things to do in the open world. There are multiple different types of locations such as treasures, outposts, cities, stone circles, scrolls, and ancient tombs to explore. I believe there's one or two that I missed, but those are what I can remember off the top of my head from when I wrote this script. There's also plenty of side quests. A lot of them are pretty meaningful and actually cool. There's a few quests that have like a decent little story to it, and quite a bit of the quests in this game do give you some good rewards. But there are, sadly, there's a lot actually of the quest that's just fetch quests, like MMO type stuff. Go here, kill this, come back. There's a lot of those. Or go here, grab this item, come back. Take this item to someone, come back. Just there's a lot of those kinds of missions that just are meaningless. And yeah, they're just not great. There's not really any collectibles in this game, by the way. It's really just finding the treasures and clearing out the locations. That's basically the collectibles. Viewpoints are also still in the game. They're thrown across the map, and those are your only fast travel methods other than cities. And they work how they work in every game. You climb a tower, you hit a button, you see surrounding locations, and that works the same for every Assassin's Creed game, and it has not changed to this day. Now let's get into the combat and abilities. So there are multiple types of weapons such as swords, daggers, axes, spears, blunt like weapons like hammers and stuff, as well as bows. There's I don't know what I wrote here. There are multiple types of bows such as light bows, which will shoot rapid amounts of arrows, hunting bows, which will shoot one arrow at a time but hit harder, and predator bows, which are used for precision shots, and you can also control the arrow mid-air once you get a skill for it. And you can control the arrow so that you can like go around a building and hit this guy or some crazy stuff like that. So predator bow is actually really cool. It also puts you in a first-person perspective, which is just unique. Nothing else does that in the game. All these weapons can be upgraded to your current level, and there are multiple legendaries for each weapon type. There also... I'm so sorry, I'm like super tired. There are also packs you can buy in the store to get you special weapons and outfits. And those cost real money, but there's some cool outfits and weapons in there. But you can also get them for free by doing Reda. You have one daily quest you can do there, and then you can also just buy chests. And these cost about 3,000, I believe, of the currency in game. That's just currency you can get normally in game without spending money. And you can buy these chests, and it'll roll for a chance of getting a blue, purple, or legendary. And you can get stuff that's in the exclusive real life money shop. So it's a super cool system. It's better than the other Assassin's Creeds when it comes to that grind for that paid content. You can get some of it for free. Well, all of it for free. It just takes a little while. There are also plenty different outfits in the game. You unlock tons through story progression as well as buying from merchants. And there's like a lot of outfits that are like locked behind like side quest and stuff like that. I don't know, my phone keeps glitching, sorry. You can also buy mounts from merchants, and you get some of these through story progression and side quests as well. And you can get horses and camels, and then there's a few like mystical creatures in there, but they're like horses, like the unicorn. The skills in the game are quite massive. You can upgrade just overall damage for each tree, which is stealth, archery, and warrior. And doing so will just upgrade the damage you output when you do that type of damage. And those can be upgraded endlessly, because once you hit the max level, you can keep gaining skill points each time you level up, but your level stays the max level, you know? But there are also abilities that you can unlock, such as auto-looting enemies on kill, being able to control predator arrows, doing extra damage with like fire and stuff, as well as being able to tame enemies, tame animals, and you can unlock new gadgets as well. There's really not too many new systems when it comes to combat, except for the levels and weapons. And just the way weapons feel are very different than the other games, because this is more of a RPG rather than a third-person action-adventure game. You can also upgrade your quiver, breastplate, bracers, utility bag, hidden blade, and there's one more, but I don't remember what it is. And so, like, each one does a different thing. Quiver upgrades your overall amount of arrows. Your breastplate does health. Bracers do damage. Utility bag increases the amount of gadgets. And hidden blade increases the damage the hidden blade does. And to be able to upgrade these, you'll need to grind out different resources by killing animals in the world and looting natural resources from the earth. And opening treasure chests as well can get you some decent resources. Upgrading weapons is a lot simpler though. All you need to do is go to a blacksmith and pay to upgrade it to your level. I really love every system in this game. It just flows well and works great. You don't really feel like you're grinding for a lot of this stuff in the game, which is just super nice. This is the perfect in-between of RPG and Assassin's Creed in my opinion. What? Oh, you also have eagle. You don't have the standard eagle vision in this game that like the other games. Instead, you have a hawk named Senu, and he can see from a bird's eye view, and you can use him to find enemies and treasure, as well as entrances into locations. And it's really cool because you literally turn into a bird and you can just see down. It's pretty sick. You don't turn into a bird, but it's, you know what I mean. It's cool. The stealth is still very viable in this game too, unlike the other games where stealth is a little viable in Odyssey, but Valhalla stealth, there's just no point in doing it. But unlike the other games where stealth just isn't really usable anymore, like Valhalla, stealth just works really well in this game. And it's not, you don't need to do stealth, but it makes segments way easier. You can take enemies out silently with your bow, you can sneak up on them and do hidden blade attacks, you can do chain assassinations. There's just, you can still play stealthy in this game, which is just really nice because it lets you know that this is an Assassin's Creed still at the end of the day. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Let's go to the DLCs now. I will also be talking about the Discovery Tour just a little. just so because it's a pretty big update. So I just wanted to go over it because I did have to play it to get the trophies. But we're gonna start off with the Hidden Ones DLC. This DLC is probably the best one, and it's also the first DLC to come out for the game. This DLC follows Bayek in a new region on a new map with a new story and new characters, and a few new gameplay mechanics, which is mechanics that were honestly kind of already in the game, but they just weren't useful because the way the map was laid out, like the zipline assassinations were always a thing, but you never could use them in the main game because ziplines were just used for traversal. There was no enemies near the ziplines like at all. So it's stuff like that. It's stuff that was already in the game, but the way they laid out the DLC made stuff like new mechanics kind of happen, even though they were already there. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean. You got it. Let's see. I also want to add that each of these DLCs do add completely new weapons, mounts, outfits, and skills. I'm not going to go into any of that though because I don't know what was added with each DLC. Because I don't know because a lot of it was just on my account from years ago. So I really just don't know where like any of this shit came from DLC wise. But the story falls back. What? Hold on. The story follows Bayek as he properly forms the Hidden Ones and tries to free this region from an oppression. The region is quite sizable, and the scale is about the size of Siwa in the base game, the region you start the game in. But it adds a lot of new weapons and stuff like that, and as I said, it's really just a fun DLC. It doesn't add a lot to like the grind of the game or anything like that, and it's just more story. It's more of what you got from the base game in a new region with a little new story and some new stuff to mess around with. The DLC will probably take you around 10 hours or so to beat the story. Could be a little less, could be a little more. It just depends on your playstyle. If you're going to 100% it, it's more like 15 to 20 hours, depending on your playstyle. But it's going to be the same of what it is in the base game, as I said. Especially when it comes to 100%ing the map and stuff like that. But the trophies also are very different than the base game in a way that they just add a lot of those challenge trophies where it's like kill enemies doing this thing or stuff like that, you know, kill an enemy a certain way type of trophies. But that's it to talk about this DLC. It's really good. I love this DLC. I'll give all my ratings for everything at the end, by the way, after I go through all the DLCs. So the second major DLC, which is also technically the final DLC because the Discovery Tour is just an update, the secondary DLC is The Curse of the Pharaohs. This is a more sizable DLC, and it goes into the realm of mythology, rather than being more focused on realism. So you're introduced to a whole new area, again, massive map. It's probably double the size of Siwa, maybe even triple. This follows you trying to figure out why the pharaohs and the mummies are coming back to the living world. You have to go into different afterlives, so you have to go into different afterlives to help people and fight all these different ancient pharaohs. This DLC adds... Sorry, my phone messed up. This DLC adds some of the cooler outfits, weapons, and mounts because they're all more mythological, so they're just more vibrant and just they have that cooler style to them, you know? There's also just a lot of gold in this DLC when it comes to colors on stuff, just because of the pharaohs and things like that. There are 4 different afterlives, and each one is distinctly different. The way it uses colors and in the way the nature itself is. Just each region has its own unique look because it's a different afterlife depending on each god. This also introduces a new respawnable boss that spawns in the world, just like the Phylac in the base game, the mercenaries that chase you down. But in this game, there are pharaohs that are like mummified and stuff, and each time you kill them, they give you a legendary weapon. This DLC also raised the level cap all the way to 55. To 100% this DLC, it'll probably take you closer to 20 to 25 hours, but to beat the story itself, it's probably closer to 16. It's really solid DLC, it adds a lot of new content, and there's a lot of new legendaries to grind for that are actually really good and just super cool looking. As well as each of these DLCs do have their own side quest and The side quest in Curse of the Pharaohs are significantly better than the ones in the Hidden Ones DLC though, but they both have their own side quests, just so you know, and they're quite plentiful as well. Now we'll talk about the Discovery Tour. This is going to be a short segment, just basically giving you an understanding of what this mode is. The Discovery Tour is a way to learn some facts about ancient Egypt, and you can also just play as any character from the main game, as well as just random NPCs. But this update, but to get the trophies for this update, it'll probably take you like an hour if you do it the way I did, which was just running through each tour and skipping through the tours as fast as possible, because you can just go to a thing, hit skip, go to a thing, hit skip. If you do it that way, you'll be able to get it done fast. If you do it the legit way though, it'll probably take you like 3 hours maybe or so, ish. But now I'm going to give my review and everything, like my scores. So for the base game, I would give it an 8 out of 10. This is one of my favorite Assassin's Creeds of all time. It's just really good game. Everything flows well. I love the environment. I love the story. I love absolutely everything about this game. It does have its flaws, but that's simply because I love the older Assassin's Creeds. And I would have loved if they stuck with like Exios and Black Flags like style of gameplay. I think it would have been fine. The Hidden One DLC, I would give a 10 out of 10. It doesn't add a lot in terms of new gameplay and new systems or anything. But the story it has and the area it's in all feels really nice. And it's a really good story. And I just love the way that the DLC map is laid out, because it's more focused on parkour and stealth than the base game. And it's a good DLC if you prefer the older Assassin's Creed games. For the Curse of the Pharaohs DLC, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. If you're into the mythological stuff, you'll definitely like it. I love mythological stuff like that, but when I play Assassin's Creed, I do prefer more realistic stuff. But this DLC does add a lot of very unique locations, as well as super awesome outfits and mounts. The story is super cool, but it's just not for me when it comes to Assassin's Creed. The Discovery Tour, I might as well give a review on. I'll give it like a 6 out of 10. It's cool if you want to learn about ancient Egypt, but if you want exciting gameplay, this is not the mode for you. But that's going to do it for this Road to Platinum video, guys. The next Platinum we're doing is going to be Kingdom Hearts 2, and after that will probably be Assassin's Creed Odyssey, but I'm not entirely sure about that just yet. More than likely, though, after Kingdom Hearts 2, I'll probably Platinum Far Cry 6, most likely. Just because Odyssey, I have to play on the channel first, and that's going to take a while. Odyssey probably will get pushed back for a while, actually. Something else also could pop up for a Road to Platinum video before Kingdom Hearts 2 if I do decide to do like a shorter Platinum or something. But yeah, that's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you guys want to see on the channel in the future. And I'll see you guys very soon in the next one. Stay safe out there, and peace out, guys.